Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. A man out for a jog settles into his stride as the sun peaks above the mountains, his rhythmic footfalls the only sound breaking the early morning stillness along the wooded trail. Wildflowers bow under a gentle summer breeze as dawn light filters through the pine canopy. The forest appears peaceful, almost enchanted, but concealed deep within the thick brush, the area's apex predator shifts restlessly. Branch tips tremble as a low chest-rumbling growl goes unnoticed. In a split second, the quiet solitude shatters. Massive paws tear into the damp earth as a powerful grizzly bear bursts through the underbrush, closing the distance in a terrifying heartbeat before the runner can even process the sudden flash of dark fur. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. The Aspen Loop Trail inside Henry's Lake State Park, situated in the high mountain valley of Island Park in eastern Idaho, has recently been the topic of discussion in the conflict between grizzly bears and mankind. Nestled on the western slope of the Continental Divide, near the borders of Montana and Wyoming, this region features rolling timbered hills, volcanic plateaus, sprawling wetlands, and lush subalpine meadows. Historically, this basin was a vital hunting and gathering ground for indigenous tribes like the Shoshone and Bannock. Today it attracts outdoor enthusiasts, hunters, anglers, and hikers, despite a climate of brief summers and snowy winters. The forest canopy features lodgepole pine, Douglas fir, and subalpine fir, while the understory grows mountain alder, serviceberry, chokecherry, and wild berries like huckleberries, wild raspberries, and thimbleberries. This ecosystem supports diverse wildlife, including moose, elk, mule deer, coyotes, bald eagles, black bears, and a growing population of aggressive grizzly bears. Thick brush along the trail limits visibility severely, but adds to the forest ambiance for visitors. In the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, bears utilize this dense cover for shelter in the cool morning hours while foraging for insects, roots, and vegetation. In midsummer, bears aggressively maximize caloric intake for winter hibernation. When these foraging zones overlap with human recreational paths, the risk of a sudden, high-speed encounter rises, triggering the bear's defensive instincts. Just after sunrise, on the morning of July 24, 2026, a middle-aged jogger, whom we'll refer to as Dan, had set out for a run along one of his favorite routes, Aspen Loop Trail. He was an avid outdoorsman utilizing the state park's trail network and the integration into nature it offered. Official incident reports did not clarify whether Dan was carrying bear spray or a firearm on his jog. If he had been carrying outdoorsman pepper spray, he probably would have felt safer and would have definitely been safer. The bear spray sprays real far, burns the mucosal membranes of bears, cougars, coyotes, wolves, and pushy salesmen. It has a helpful safety clip and easy access trigger for quick dispensing. It protects you on picnics near streams while hunting, mountain biking, camping, or even on the city streets, fitting into most backpacks, and will even clip onto your belt or backpack straps. It is only about $17, and the peace of mind is worth $1 million, so check out the product linked in the video article below this video. It isn't clear if his mind wandered to the recent spate of attacks around Island Park while Dan did his pre-workout stretches, but the area had been going through some troubling trends. Over the past few years, residents of the area had defended themselves during hunting season, and in one incident, while they were carrying groceries in from their vehicle. A mountain biker was attacked by a grizzly, and short of quick reactions and the use of their firearms, some of these people would have been injured victims during the confrontations. While Dan was navigating the backcountry loop alone, he was not completely without company. Accompanying him throughout his early morning workout was his dog, whom we'll call Rufus, who trotted along the path as they navigated the wooded terrain. Around 8 in the morning, Dan moved at a steady pace along the Aspen Loop Trail. The normal spread of aspen and pine trees passed with each stride as his body began falling into a comfortable pace. He'd likely ran this stretch of trail numerous times and had never seen a grizzly bear, let alone had any problem with one. As he rounded a blind bend surrounded by thick cover, he found himself face to face with his personal worst-case scenario. A mature grizzly bear had been traveling the same trail that morning, and now Dan watched as the enormous predator spun toward him so quickly he scarcely had time to react. The surprised bear lashed out defensively, launching a ferocious attack that sent Dan to the ground. In a fury of teeth and claws, the grizzly bear inflicted severe physical injuries upon Dan's body, including painful lacerations, puncture wounds, and deep tissue trauma from the animal's powerful claws and teeth. As the man screamed and tried to remain still, the attack site suddenly went completely silent. The grizzly bear disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Dan in pain, bleeding, and alone. Remarkably, despite sustaining painful injuries, Dan demonstrated immense resolve, managing to rise and regain his footing. He likely tested his legs to see if the bear had left him with broken bones or torn ligaments. After reassuring himself that he could walk, he began to make his way out of the backcountry, under his own power, alongside Rufus, who was uninjured during the encounter. Somehow Dan got help in making a call for assistance. First responders and paramedics met the bleeding runner at the trailhead. Rescuers observed a man visibly shaken and suffering from clear physical trauma, yet displaying remarkable fortitude as he stayed conscious and cooperative despite his severe wounds. Paramedics stabilized his condition at the scene before loading him into an ambulance for transport to Madison Memorial Hospital in Rexburg, where he underwent comprehensive emergency medical care for his injuries. Following the evacuation, officers from the Idaho Department of Fish and Game partnered with deputies from the Fremont County Sheriff's Office to secure the scene. Search crews conducted ground operations and deployed drones to thoroughly scout the trail system and surrounding thickets. Investigators located the exact site where the attack had occurred, along the Aspen Loop Trail. No bears were located nearby during the search. Because the animal fled immediately after the encounter and was no longer present, wildlife officials determined the bear would not be tracked or destroyed. Because the animal was not captured or euthanized, specific biological data regarding the bear's age, exact health, and sex could not be recorded. Furthermore, search crews found no evidence of an animal carcass nearby, confirming the incident was a classic surprise encounter rather than a carcass defense situation. Investigators also found no immediate evidence indicating the presence of cubs during the encounter. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, link below, will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes, and at $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce true educational and entertaining content like this. Idaho is home to an estimated population of approximately 30,000 black bears, along with a growing population of roughly 80 to 100 grizzly bears, concentrated primarily in the eastern Panhandle and greater Yellowstone areas. The state of Idaho covers a vast total area of approximately 83,569 square miles, yielding an average density of about 1 bear per 3 square miles statewide, with both species included. Historically, bear attacks in Idaho remain relatively rare, with dozens of documented non-fatal encounters over the past century, and only a handful of fatal bear attacks recorded in state history. A tactical debrief on this encounter highlights crucial survival lessons for navigating bear country. Running or biking through dense cover naturally reduces reaction time for both humans and wildlife. When surprised at close range, a bear's instinctive reaction is often self-defense rather than predation. Dan's decision to maintain his composure, cover vital areas during the assault, and immediately evacuate the area once the bear disengaged directly contributed to his survival. Carrying easily accessible bear spray, making deliberate noise when approaching blind corners, and keeping dogs on a short leash remain the most effective defensive measures to prevent surprise charges in high-density bear habitats. After reviewing the facts surrounding this attack, I'm left with a few questions for you. Do you believe that running with a dog increases or decreases the likelihood of a bear attack along timbered trails? Would carrying accessible bear spray on a chest holster have allowed Dan to stop the charge before contact? Given the low population of grizzly bears and people in this area, do you think Island Park grizzly bears are more aggressive than grizzlies in other locations? The statistics seem to indicate an ominous trend that way. I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.